I am still working on my, let me move this, my Queen Anne's lace. I decided it needed more, so I'm coming back to it to add more. I'm adding this nice blue background, and I added in some strawberries and some other details that I just felt like it really needed. And I'm using my Arteza watercolor pencils for this, and I'm actually propping my work on the box itself, so it may slide a bit. Bear with me. What I'm doing here, you see that my my clips, my clamp that I used, created a line on the paper, which damaged my paper. So what I'm doing is I'm using my scratching tool and some other color pencils to blend in that line and kind of make it disappear. What I did here on this leaf is I just scratched away where that line is and kind of created some negative space where that line could disappear into. But another way to do that, instead of just scratching away at it like a wild cat, is to come back through with colored pencils and create a background that would make that disappear. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So I will still be using my scratching tool, again, like butter knives or screwdrivers, whatever you have that would scratch at your paper like a wild animal. Kind of goes at it like that, like I do. It's just how I roll. But I'm using two different shades of blue, my darkest being my Egyptian blue, which is my favorite, so it's like almost gone. And then I'm using this Mykonos blue. Yeah, don't get me mispronouncing things with my dyslexia self. Which is my lightest blue in the selection that I am using. I usually just pick 3 of a shade and go with that rather than being overwhelmed and having to figure out which blues I'm going to use. So, or colors I'm going to use. So what I've done is I've already gone through with my Egyptian blue and colored in around this leaf as dark as I can. When I color in around to get dark, I'm holding my pencil like you would hold a regular pencil. Oh guys, I should not record with a migraine. So I'm holding my pencil like I would hold a regular pencil, and I am just going as hard as I can over this area. Just my pencil is just like straight up and down in most of these areas, and I am just going really hard and really small circles to blend in that line and to make it disappear into the background. And as I go away from that area, I'm going to go lighter on my pencil. I'm going to hold it further back and just kind of let my wrist and the my wrist is kind of doing a lot more of the work, but I'm holding it kind of still on my, I have this piece of cardboard there to protect it from damaging my other artwork, and you know, I'm not like going over it again. But my wrist is kind of the one doing, like, you see this muscle here just kind of doing its thing. And I'm just doing those small little sections, those small little circles, and letting the pencil do its job without, let me do some up here so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. See, it's barely going on there. And you'll remember from a previous video where I did blending with graphite, I did the same thing. It's just the same thing, we're just using a color pencil. And we're way off on the ends of our pencil, just kind of letting the pressure be over here and letting the end of the pencil barely slide over. Just barely lightly touching that. And so that's exactly what I'm doing here around these edges to blend that in. And the longer I stay in one area, the more that will blend. Now, I have a created line here where I was scratching away at this leaf and it did not have any green there, so the blue just jumped right on in as the darker color. So I'm going to use my scratching tool and I'm just gonna scratch away at that blue and blend that right with my scratching tool to where I am kind of making that green area. I'm extending my plant here, my leaf. And as you can probably see from my hand, I have been doing a lot of skin picking, just kind of, my anxiety is nuts. So this is how I'm replacing that behavior, because for those of us with skin picking disorder, we don't realize we're doing it until usually until there's massive levels of damage done to our skin and we're like, oh, I've been subconsciously just picking at my skin while staring off into space. Disassociation is terrible, but it is a reality of our kind of our lives. But this kind of helps me bring myself back into the present, and this helps me bring myself away from those self-harming behaviors of skin picking and things like that. So this is just my attempt to replace that behavior while also creating something really cool. So I usually will go pretty hard on my sculpting tool when I'm working to use this as a replacement behavior. And sometimes I will even do this while I'm talking to my therapist. We've been doing online sessions, and just kind of being able to talk and sketch or scratch at something has been really helpful. I don't feel the need to make eye contact with my therapist while I'm talking about the hard stuff, and she doesn't feel the need to make me, so that works out really well. Anytime you're around somebody who doesn't feel the need to make eye contact, if you are just comfortable with not, that would actually help the conversation go along a whole lot better than just being like, you have to look at me. I've never understood that. Sometimes it's just easier to stare off into space or to stare at something you're working on while you're talking to somebody. I have over scratched right here, and I did not intend to. So I'm gonna use my smoothing side and just try to smooth that down a little bit, because I actually don't want to scratch that up. I wanted that to blend, and so I'm going to take my darker and come back in and try to blend that out. If I can't, it's not the end of the world, but I did over scratch there, so. But I'm just alternating between my light and my dark, and I might come in with a medium blue at some point and blend this together a lot more. But I just wanted to give you an idea of what I was doing, how I'm doing that to achieve this background that I'm working on. Again, down here I have some lines where I over scratched when I was creating this strawberry. it is not the end of the world. I'm just gonna go a lot harder, a lot darker with this dark blue into those areas. And again, if I want to go really hard, I can use that pencil, hold it like a regular pencil, and just up and down motions right through that line. And then back off a little bit and do some circling to blend that into the rest of the area around it, just like so. And this is so much better for me than what I was doing before I decided to do more on this work. I'm gonna go around this fleur-de-lis, very dark around this fleur-de-lis. And I am going really hard on that color pencil to get that darker. Going really hard on it makes it dark faster than if I were to be doing this over time. Excuse me, my voice went nuts. If I were to doing this over time, it would take a lot longer to get into those nooks and crannies with this blending. But I'm gonna just go really hard on that and go a lot faster, because I'm not going to be blending in a lot of the lighter blue down here. I want this to be most of the dark blue, and I want it to blend lighter as I go up. So just keep that in mind when you're doing your work. Like, what are you trying to achieve, and how can you achieve that with the tools that you have? So if I wanted a darker down at the bottom. Now, also another thing that you could do with color pencils is water. Even if they're not intended for watercolor, a lot of times you can use a little bit of water on them and wash out some of the color with a paintbrush and a little bit of water. Perry is dreaming and I hear her like, it's so cute. Anyway, I'm gonna go snuggle on Perry for a bit because her dreams are cute. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed like watching this and watching along as I create a little bit today to replace some anxiety and skin picking behaviors. I hope that you are having a wonderful day and that you are taking care of yourself in the best way that you have available to you. If there's someone there who can help you take care of yourself, please reach out and ask for help and allow them to take care of you if they have the space and energy to do so. You deserve that love, and you deserve all of the good that they are trying to put into your life. And so I'm mostly saying that to myself, but because that's hard for me, but hey, I'm working on it. Anyway, I hope your day is going well, and if not, love yourself through it. I love you, much love, and have a great day. Bye.